Hello everyone, my name is Fola. I am commonly known as Folly Fresh. I've been given the honour and the privilege today to be speaking with Peju, who is a seasoned entrepreneur. And today we'll be speaking about her debut book. She is the author of a new book, The Journey to Forever. So we'll be discussing all things about her new book, inspirations behind it. And without further ado, we're going to go straight into it. So, hi Peju.
Hello, Fola.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are
nice
you?
Nice and what's this, orange, shall we say?
Yes, I mean it's called rust,
Oh,
but you know.
So, rust.
Some of us call it burnt orange.
Burnt orange. But it's a pleasure. Thank you for this honour. It's actually a privilege. And a huge congratulations on the new book. Amazing stuff. So, like I said, we're going to go straight into it. So, obviously I've been fortunate enough to know you for quite some time, but for those who may be seeing you or hearing about you for the very first time, who are you? Who is Peju?
Who am I? This is one of the questions that I actually don't really like. But so my name is Peju Odanye, and I am, like Fola said, an entrepreneur. I started my first business at the age of 17, so I own a hair and makeup company, specialising in bridal hair, wigs, colouring, the lot. But also I am an event planner, and I own a company, well, co-founded a company with my best mate called Evented. And so I've been planning weddings, well, events for over a decade now. And yeah, I mean, I love God, I sing. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell, really.
So there's many sides to Peju as
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, you do wear a lot of hats. What I did want to explore, so you mentioned having a hair and makeup business, so beauty business, as well as co-founding an events planning business.
Yeah.
And so from hair and beauty, events, and now to author.
Yeah.
I mean, where did the author part come from? I mean, was it something that has been brewing for quite some time? Did you always know you were gonna kind of move into that writing sphere? Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, but I never really thought it would be this soon. First of all,
okay.
But also I didn't think it would be about this. I always thought my book would probably be about relationships, and I love relationships.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of my friends always come to me for relationship advice and stuff like that. So I really thought it'd probably be about relationships. Probably, maybe after I've been married for like a decade or 20 years or whatever. But yeah, I never really thought this would be the case. But I mean, this has come sooner than expected. One, because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
But two, I think, what was it? When I was talking to a friend of mine who's also an event planner in the beginning of this year, so I remember it was in the beginning of February, and she was just asking how's business and how things going, and I was explaining to her what's been happening, about the changes in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was saying to me how why not create a product that can actually help people in the industry in terms of maintaining the standard, but also we're seeing a lot of people wanting to plan their own weddings themselves, but just hire a coordinator. Why not give them the tools that they need to be able to do it properly? And I thought about that, and I thought, okay, that would be a good idea. Maybe I'll create some resources and things like that. And I never really thought I would do a book. And then when the lockdown came, and I mean, we couldn't do any events anymore, couldn't do any hair.
Listen, honestly, it's been...
I just started praying, like, okay, God, what do I do in this season? How do I maximize this season, make the most of it? Because this is the first time I've ever had time on my hands, and that's where the idea of the book came from.
Okay, so would you say the inspiration behind the book was definitely something that was, if I should call it divine inspiration, on top of the fact that you just wanted to be in a position to kind of be a source of help and support? So, or what would you say the inspiration behind the book is?
I would definitely say that. Definitely divine inspiration. But I think I agree, because I wouldn't have in a million years thought to do it.
Yeah.
But I also think that one thing that's come from it is my passion for events, my passion for weddings, and because I've seen and which is why it's called the journey to forever, because I've seen a lot of people go on the journey to wedding planning, and it's one of the most stressful times of their lives, and sometimes it can have cause a strain on their actual relationships, and you know you're planning this wedding for this relationship, for this marriage, but in the process your relationship is strained, and because you're so stressed out because there's so many things coming here and there.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, okay, how do I actually help people go along this process and enjoy the process, have all the tools that they need to be equipped, so that, you know, they don't make costly mistakes, so that, you know, they don't spend too much time on certain things, because, you know, it helps them work more productively, effectively.
Absolutely.
You know, I believe in working smart. So if you have those tools, you have the things, you can jump through certain hoops. And it doesn't take away, you know, having a wedding planner or whatever. It actually helps the wedding planner in the sense that it helps you, relieve the weight off of your shoulders, because your clients know what they need to do on their end, but it also helps you to systemize things, to standardize things a little bit better.
But I guess there's a good level of understanding of your inspiration behind it, and I think it's amazing that you know, this is something that could be used as a resource for, I mean, if you think about it, the fact that it's in the medium of a book, you know, you're not just effectively meeting a certain demographic in terms of, like, obviously being based here in the UK, but
of course.
I mean, anyone can get their hands on it worldwide, and I guess that's a massive advantage, and the potential reach that you have to, like you say, bless or be of value to people around the world is quite phenomenal. On the subject of the fact that you decided to use a book, why do you reckon you chose a book format rather than a podcast or a film? Or because you look, as I look,
I'm a talker, innit?
So I can see you behind the camera, you know, getting your acting on. Although I don't know if it's going to be Hollywood or Nollywood, but
probably more Nollywood.
I would say So why did you choose a book format? Because I mean, like I said, nowadays, especially with technology, there's so many various different formats. So why a book?
So I mean, I love reading.
Okay.
And I also love writing. So you see me, you would always see a notebook. Like, I have so many notebooks. I just love writing things and putting things together. And I just thought a book is something that it has everything in one place, so they can always refer to it whenever. Like, okay, say for example, you are in a certain stage in the planning process, just go to chapter X, and it's there. The resources you need are there. Also, I wanted to create resources, so I actually created everything in this book myself. So I designed the resources, and what it is say for example there's a few at the end of every chapter, but I'll give you an example of one. Venue sourcing, all the questions you need when you go, like a checklist. When you go to a venue, and it has over 40 questions. And it covers everything. And so whenever you're going to view a venue, you can take that with you. And it covers all the bases. But also what I've done is I've also created a website that has the resources themselves on there. So if you didn't want to buy the book and you're somebody who is more digital, all you need to do is just download it onto your laptop, and you can work on it there. So
there's an avenue for you to have access either way, whether it's through the book, ideally through the book, purchasing the book. But if you're not, inclined to reading that way, and you just want to have the resource, you can still
do that.
That's
exactly.
Fantastic. Okay. I guess you've kind of touched on what the book is about, but what I mean, in a more succinct way, what would you say is the core essence of what the book is about? Okay,
so the book is actually called The Journey to Forever, the Ultimate Wedding Planning Guide. I remember the name of my book. The Ultimate Wedding Planning Guide, and that's literally it in a nutshell. It is a wedding planning guide, step-by-step guide on what you need to do to plan your own wedding, to help you navigate through the process, navigate through the journey, have a smooth, seamless process, and it covers every single thing. Honestly, guys, I did not leave anything out. I did not leave anything out. It genuinely covers everything. From, like I'll continue using the example of venue sourcing. You go to a venue, most people just know the basic questions to ask, but as a wedding planner, you know that there's more details involved. For example, okay, we're in COVID now, liability insurance, things like this, or okay, you might have envisioned you're gonna have candles all over the venue on your wedding day, but you've already booked the venue without realizing that they don't actually allow lit flames, in there, or they don't allow fireworks, or they don't allow confetti. Like you've dreamed that you come out and everyone's going to throw just little things like this. So actually checking all the bases before you make that
important
booking,
decision.
before you make sure that all your decisions are informed, even down to how to manage relationships with family members and your bridal
so even
party.
the interpersonal side as well, not just the technical.
Even just talking about guest lists, for example, that's something that we hear about all the time, where somebody maybe wants a certain number of people at their wedding, but they feel a lot of pressure. How do we cover that? I've created a checklist. Questions you ask yourself: yes, no, do they meet this? Do they not? That would help you make that decision on whether this person makes the cut, and not feeling guilty that you weren't able to do it. Or say you want to have a destination wedding, you don't have to start from scratch. This book has what you need.
Fantastic. I think that's awesome. The fact that, like you said, just drawing on things. I think a lot of people will see things, the whole planning process, as more something that is pretty technical on the side of a lot of times you have to acquire services or products and then have to try and do that. But like you said, there's the interpersonal side, dealing with managing relationships with with vendors or with whoever's serving you. Also managing relationships amongst your own immediate circle, your family, your friends, etc. So I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think another thing that kind of gives you that advantage is the fact that you've had years and years of experience through being involved for the entire process for many couples, etc. So this lady knows what she's talking about, Absolutely amazing, Peju. I guess a key question, this is, and I think this will help, just hearing it directly from you. Who would you say the book is aimed at? Would you say it's aimed at a particular group, or would you say it's aimed at both sides of the end user? So whether it's like the vendors, whether it's like the people who are like pretty much the project managers, the wedding planners, or the client themselves, the couple. Who's the book aimed at?
The book is aimed at everybody and their mom. Because obviously, yes, it's written for couples, kind of directed at couples. But if you think about it, like I said, the chapter on managing relationships, if you're a bridesmaid, knowing how to navigate that relationship, it would help you as well. A parent, your child is getting married, how do you navigate that? Vendors, in terms of how they liaise with couples. I would also say, even as a friend, how to help your friend through this planning process. You actually would then have more information, be more equipped to help your friend through the process. And I think also wedding planners, actually giving this to your clients to enable them have a better understanding of what the process is like, how to navigate the process, the part that they play in it, and it would help you ease the stress off your shoulders. It just makes everybody more equipped to do the job and ensure that they actually get the wedding of their dreams.
I think that's amazing. I think a tool that can help everyone that's involved in the process, or every stakeholder, if you want to call it that, that's involved in the process. Because I feel like from experience of dealing with people who are at weddings, from the various roles we play, myself as a host, as an MC, yourself as a wedding planner, and obviously and a coordinator, we've been involved, and we get to see who gets impacted. And I think sometimes, people, especially if it's your first time, you kind of, maybe your mind is very, not intentionally, but self-centered on, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is what I'm trying to achieve for my day. Forgetting that sometimes there's other people that you need to always carry along in the day. So I think you're right, various different people, and I think that's amazing that the book serves that purpose for the various different stakeholders. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
I guess from Peju's heart, Peju's mind, what would you say, if you had to maybe give me like 3 sentences or 3 key points that you would say, this is what I intend the book to do for the end user, the person who receives it? What would you say? I'd say, okay, maybe let me extend to 5. What are 5 things, if you do have 5, what are 5 things you particularly intend for the book to do for the various different stakeholders who may get their hands on the book?
That's a good question. 5 things. I would say definitely making the journey smoother. easing the load, the pressure off of the shoulders of the couples and whoever else is planning the wedding. I would say giving people the confidence that they need to be able to navigate this journey. Because if you know what it is that you have to do, you have all the tools, you have all the resources, you're confident as you're taking that on. Helping people avoid costly mistakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because
that's a key one.
yeah, exactly. Like, people do make costly mistakes and you can't blame them because they don't know. So actually giving them that information and the tools, the knowledge. Like I said in the beginning, enjoying the journey and enjoying the process, actually making it quite enjoyable for people. And lastly, making sure that their vision comes to life. So actually, how you've envisioned it and how you've dreamed about your wedding day, actually seeing that pan out, and just having the wedding of your dreams, essentially. Like, that is actually my prayer for everybody. No regrets.
Absolutely. So Peju, before we bring this conversation to a close, I guess the key question I want to ask is, when can we expect the book to be out in the airspace? So whether it's in stores, online, etc., and also where can we acquire the book from? Because I believe this is a tool that, as Peju said earlier on, everyone should be getting their hands on.
Yes, honestly, guys, this is my gift to you. Literally is. When should we expect it? So by the end of this month. It should be out. I'm working towards the 25th of October. And it will be available on Amazon, but also on the website, so www.thejourneytoforever.co.uk. It will be available on there as well. And yeah, honestly guys, I've made sure it is very affordable. When I was creating this book, I didn't create it with making a profit in mind. I literally just created it to be a source of help to people, but obviously making this book has cost me oh my gosh. So it is affordable and it will definitely be a lifesaver.
You heard it from the lady herself. So Peju, thank you so much. It's been an honour, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. I guess the other final question is, when will we be sitting back here for the second book?
Oh!
To be confirmed.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. But,
soon.
TBC. Well, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fola. This has been amazing.
No worries.